All right, my friends, how are you today? Aaron here, bringing you some honest astrology about the new moon we're having in Pisces today at 9:24 p.m. on March 18th, 2026. Let's go to the chart. We've got the sun in the sign of Pisces. We've got the moon in the sign of Pisces. And we have two of our three other personal planets, Mars, our planet of action, Mercury, which rules our thoughts and our communication, conjunct the North Node here, all in the sign of Pisces. Of course, Mercury is opposing the South Node as it's conjunct the North Node. Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini. It's about communication and information. So there's challenging aspects of our brains, things that might not seem logical. We have to lean into the intuition, lean into the unknown. There might not be a clear-cut answer. What does my future look like? What does the future hold? What will happen if I choose this path? What will happen if I do this action? I don't know. I don't know exactly what's coming. I don't know exactly where I'm going, but there's trust and there's faith. And that's what Pisces has to deal with. Trust, faith, our imagination. Okay. And we have some interesting elements here with Jupiter in Cancer. Now, Cancer is ruled by the moon, and Pisces is ruled by Neptune. So we have elements of compassion, faith, belief, leaning into the intuition, the unknown. Forgiveness is a huge element here. Forgiveness, not holding any anger or resentments in our hearts, no matter what is happening in the world. It's like over here, this Saturn stuff, Neptune, Saturn, Venus, Chiron, all in Aries. This is about self. So you have to get yourself in a good place. You have to have love within self, desire yourself, desire to lead a good life by example. So it doesn't matter what the rest of the world is doing right now. This is about how you, right? This is like first house and 12th house. This is like how we conduct ourselves and our own mental health, how we mentally view the world and how we're taking actions in it determines on what is. So if you're looking at the world through, eyes of rainbows and butterflies and beauty and creation, you're going to find creation. You're going to find beauty around you. And if we see this world through the eyes of destruction and chaos and anger and sadness, we're just going to find more of that. And with Mars in Neptune creating that trine down there to Jupiter in Cancer is our emotions, and it's saying more. So whatever we're actively, Mars active, we're taking action in this area. And our Pisces deals with our right brain. So we're dealing with emotions, we're dealing with uncertainty here. So we have a left brain and our right brain, and the corpus callosum is this little set of fibers in between that connect our left and right brain. And when we're thinking logically, we're using our left brain. When we're thinking linguistics, when we're thinking mathematics, we're using our left brain. When we're thinking uncertainties, when we're thinking of fear, of doubt, of what will happen if we're worrying, this is our right brain. Okay, and this can manifest, and we're working in our right brain. We've been talking about this for a while. We can have a shallow breath, fight or flight. We can put ourselves in fight-flight mode, and we feel like we're surrounded by a pack of wolves when we're surrounded by friends, family, and people who love us. So what we're actively feeding our minds is extremely important right now, because I think everybody wants prosperity. Everybody wants to live a good life. Everybody wants to be happy to whatever degree, right? We find and we create our own happiness. So it's not guaranteed. It's not something that here's your happiness. Here's how your life is going to turn out. Here's the yellow brick road to this magical place. It's just like we all have to find our own path there. And all of this Pisces energy is saying we don't really know how we're going to get there, but if we hold the idea in our mind of that of which we want, that of which we desire, we don't necessarily know how we're going to get it. We don't necessarily know how it's going to work out. We don't necessarily know how we're going to come into an alignment, but we're holding on to the belief. And we're saying yes to this. We're saying yes, and we're going in this direction. Yes with our mind, yes with our actions. And we understand with Venus in Aries, this is about self. No one's going to hand you the keys. No one's going to just say, here's the thing. It's your work that you're doing into it. It's your work that you're putting into it. It's your mental tasking that you're doing with yourself on a daily basis that says yes to this life and yes to living in peace within yourself, even if there's chaos around us. Or the chaos might not belong to us. We might not be able to do anything about the chaos around us. There's a sense of surrendering and letting go with Piscean energy. And with our sun, this is saying, what can I do? I'm the sun, my ego self. And my emotions, the things that drive me, that I feel, these big waves, like the moon comes by and the tides rise up and down. So this new moon goes into hiding. We don't always see the moon. We don't always see our emotions, but we see the effects of the emotions. We see the rising tides. So what is going on with our lives right now that these tides are rising? What's creating emotional turbulence for us that's being amplified over here by Jupiter? Again, this is extremely important with this, what you're feeding your mind. If you're feeding it prosperity, you get more prosperity. If you're feeding it sadness, worrying, and doubt for the state of the world, which you can't do anything about, you can only really do something about yourself and your own state and your own community, your local aspect. This is one thing with the World Wide Web at large that's extremely challenging for us, as this is really new. We only, 13, 14 years have we had this smartphone technology where it is now with all the apps and digital devices in our faces. So we have the news, right, which is ruled by media, ruled by Pisces here. The news is constantly in our faces all day long, and it wants to create an emotional reaction from you. And if the news can create an emotional reaction from you, then we can push you into the direction of our products that we want you to buy. If this is going on for you, then you need this cream. If this is going on for you, you need this pill. If this is going on for you, you need this remedy. If this is going on for you, we have the solution over here, and it'll help you out, but it's going to cause this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, and this wrong, and anal bleeding and all these other things, right? So those commercials are out of control. So it's like everybody's just trying to push us and get an emotional reaction out of us. And if they allow us, they win. So with the Saturn in Aries, Neptune in Aries, with Venus in Aries, this is like protecting your peace, protecting your heart. Your heart is very sensitive and is an electromagnetic field. And anytime you bring another electromagnetic energy around it, it's going to have a reaction. And this is just simple, basic cause and effect. So just the same, if the TV's on and we're seeing something that's going on in the media, it might be true, it might not be. In this world right now, it's very hard to determine what is reality and what's not reality. I am constantly, I don't know about you guys, leave a comment, drop a, let me know what's going on in your life. I'm constantly seeing a lack of factual news online. I mean, a ton. Just like simple stuff too that should not be lied about. Like simple things about songs, music, about science, math. There's just like a lot of wrong misinformation out there in the world. And we can't pass the buck, right? It's just like you are responsible for what you know. This is the beauty of Saturn, Neptune, and Venus all in Aries right now. Is like it's the universe putting the responsibility back on your lap, back on our laps, and saying we are responsible for what we're communicating, we're responsible for how we're feeling. Other things are going to happen to us, but how we choose to act, how we choose to step forward. Mars, are we choosing anger? Are we choosing this happened and I don't like this, so I'm going to equally do something that I don't like that was done to me to retaliate? But I normally wouldn't act like this, but I'm going to because eye for an eye. Eye for an eye leaves the world blind. This is the beauty of the Piscean age that has taught us so much with humanity over the past 2,000 years, is to forgive. And thou who hasn't sinned, cast the first stone. We've all done something. We've all hurt our brothers and sisters. We've all done something to somebody. Disappointed someone, our parents, our friends, our family, our loved ones. And this is about forgiveness and the compassion. And we don't have all of the answers. So sometimes it's saying, how would you do this? How would you go about doing this certain thing in the most compassionate way possible? And again, with this Aries energy, also here, these two are they're very different energies, this Pisces and Aries energy. Because Pisces is saying forgiveness and it's all about unity in all of us. And Aries is saying, no, it's about me. So it's you. There's a responsibility of you. You have to take accountability for your actions. You have to take accountability for the words that you speak. You have to be accountable for the news you are sharing. And are you sharing something, on your social media? Are you sharing something that's going to inspire and create inspiration through someone? Or are we adding doomsday, doom and gloom, sorrow, sadness? Are we adding to this, lowering the vibration, or are we raising the vibration? So this is like, what do we believe, and how are we taking the actions and putting it forward? And everything's moving to Aries right now. We're leaving this place of belief. The North Node is headed to knowledge, not belief, and which has been a huge thing we've talked about over the past couple of months with these eclipses. We will soon learn in 8 degrees when the North Node moves out of here, right? The question of last 2 weeks ago when we had the eclipses, if I got something, I believe I did really well in the math test, and now I got the results, and now I know how I did. I know what I got wrong. I know what I got right. So we're leaving this place of belief and this I analyze and I believe, and we're headed toward what is this? I will and I know. I will and I know. Not I believe and I analyze. These are very, very different energies. So we're still in belief. So we still have this last bit of your faith is extremely important to get us through these times. And then we're going to know how we got there, right? How did you get from A to Z? Well, I did it on belief. I did it on faith. I did it on with a little help of the universe. I did it on understanding that I had to take the initiative with certain things. I understand that I had to take the compassionate route over certain things. I understood that my emotions are very valuable, and if I allow other people to control and manipulate my emotions, then anybody can do and say whatever they want with me, and I'm easily manipulated, and they can, or my emotions are theirs to play with. And it's like, no. That's why I kind of hit this hard over these concepts of the media ruling us, because it's something I see. Unfortunately, it's the industry I've worked in for over 19 years, and it's something that I see just absolutely destroying our mentality, our mental health. And the 12th house is all about mental health. So it's paying attention to our mental health and how we're showing up, what are our emotions doing, what do we believe. How are we taking actions in what we believe? Are we analyzing? So very dear to me is we've talked about the North and South Node. And one of the things that I was taught in astrology is this is where humanity's headed. We're headed toward this direction of the North Node. We're headed toward compassion. We're headed toward belief. And in her teaching, which I really value, and she said there's so much gravity toward the North Node, so much gravity in this way, we have to focus as well on the South Node. Just as much, because there's elements that we're leaving behind. There's elements that we're not paying attention to, this shadow, and that shadow is the definitions, the defining of things. And if we don't understand something, it's very easy to look up. And we have a very stacked eastern horizon here. There's not much here on the so this is very self, right? This can be very self-centered energy. This is very focused on our personal mental health, or what I'm doing personally. How am I contributing for my own sake? How am I adding back to myself? How am I giving and filling my own cup right now, so that eventually I can be there for others? But so much in belief, we have to come back into the I analyze aspect. And when you analyze, we have this little bit of power, because if we believe everything everybody else tells us without analyzing it, then we take everybody from the outside world for the gospel and the truth. When we analyze this and determine for ourselves, we get to determine what truth is. And that's extremely important right now, that we get to determine what our own truth is, so that way we can act upon our own truth and take actions with our own truth. And those actions fill up our emotional cup. So our actions fill up our emotions. And that way we're not being ruled out by our emotions that are creating us to act. You see how that works? It's like if we experience something and we analyze it, we can take it in for ourselves and then move with grace to allow this to flow. If we believe what other people are telling us without analyzing it, they're controlling our emotions, and then we're getting more of that. So more anger, more confusion, more upsetness. So this aspect of analyze, and then this quintile, this very faint blue line over here, the Saturn. And it's up to you, friends, and how you conduct yourself, how you choose to be, how you choose to act, how you choose to move forward and take the initiation, the spark. And I think that's a good place to like wrap this up here. Look, let's say that Pisces is space, and in space there's less rules, there's no friction, okay? Just endless eternity of going that we're aware of anyway. Now Aries is self. It's the inertia, it's the initiation. Now in space, we can just be floating aimlessly. We're a feather in the wind, and wherever we're being blown, we're being blown. That's the idea behind the news, the media, social media, and all of the outside influences that are controlling us right now. We're in space being blown around, okay? Well, with the Aries energy, with Saturn and Neptune, finally, it's been 16 years that Neptune's been in Pisces. What an abysmal black hole, right? It's like finally we're remembering that it's about self, that we have the ability for ourselves to think for ourselves, to act for ourselves, and to do it. So instead of just being blown around in space, it's like we have friction, okay? And we get to use our legs for even just a moment. And we can propel ourselves. And it's like, this is the direction I'm going into. It's like I'm Superman flying. This is the direction I'm flying into the camera. This is the direction I want to go into. And as soon as we take the step, right, that step is all we need to propel us. That's the inertia. That's this Aries energy. It's like you can do it yourself, and you have to go in the direction you want to go. Otherwise, we're just going to be blown around by cosmic winds and the cosmic unknowns of the cosmic media, which cosmic media, everybody's like, the world is selfish. The world wants to survive, meaning the people want to sell their products. They want to sell their product. They want you to tune into their news channel. They want you to tune into the Republican media. They want you to tune into the Democrat media. They want you to tune into all of these things so they can make money. It's just money, all right? So we have to take this time for ourselves to not be blown around like a feather in the wind, but to find solid footing on the ground and then take that leap of faith into the unknown and know that we're going to finally reach our destination. So my friends, I hope you have a beautiful leap of faith, whatever you're doing today. I hope you have a wonderful new moon. I love you. I wish you enough. We'll see you next time.